I'm going to give it to you guys straight and simple. Dating is a terrible approach, especially in 2026, if you're trying to find something that's long term and it's going to ultimately work out. Quick disclaimer, if you're somebody that, you're just testing the waters, you want to have fun, the hookup culture, right? Maybe this video isn't for you. But, for all my guys that are in search of something real, meaningful, and something that will perhaps, last, this is for you. I'd like to start by painting a little scenario, right? So, my guys, how many times have you perhaps came across a scenario where your homeboys are like, hey, let's go hit up the club, let's hit up the bar, I'm going to meet some girls, I'm going to talk to them, whatever, right? Cool, okay. You go to said place and, you're interacting with these women and whatnot. And, a lot of times it ends up with, let me buy you a drink, let me do this, that. And I want you to pause real quick because I think that is where the first mistakes happens is like you want to get to know somebody, but you also want them to be under the influence of alcohol or whatever just to kind of get to know them. And I want you to restructure that approach. See, there's a little bit of an issue that comes with dating women is that it's often it's like fun, it's just you're looking for somebody to talk to, you're testing these waters, right? And you're approaching it the wrong way. Because you have to realize that when it comes to actually building something with somebody, you have to understand how their brain works. You have to understand their behavioral patterns and stuff like that. And you're just not really going to gain that. You're not going to get that with just the traditional dating method. You're going to have to play the games. You're going to have to go through the loopholes. You're in this like pool of fish, right? And this is like the funniest thing. I personally, I wasn't big in the club scene and all that, but I'd tag along with the homies. I'd see, what antics and shenanigans they'd beat up to. And I don't know, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And I believe it's not for a lot of people. If you really want to dial down and focus on somebody with that long-term potential, I want you to focus on this word right here. And it's called courting. So what is courting? Courting is a little bit more of a formal process. So let's paint scenario number 2. You meet a girl, maybe you met her somewhere a little bit more wholesome, right? You go to the library, maybe you met her at a coffee shop. I need to take a sip of my coffee. I have a bad cold. I apologize if that is, prevalent in this video. What you want to do is you want to show intent from the get-go. Because if you're looking for something real, you want to talk to women who are also looking for something real. So go about it like this, ask her, I'd love to come over. I'd love to meet your parents. I think a great example of this is in the movie The Godfather. You look at Michael, right? Michael meets Apollonia, and when he does, he directly goes to her house. He talks to her father, and it's a courtship. It's a little bit more traditional. There's more supervision involved, and it's, he's pretty straight up with what his intent is from the get. He's like, I want to marry your daughter, whatnot. And that's the way they go about it. There's a sense of exclusivity that comes when you're courting. A lot of times when you're dating, it's just, you could be having like 5-6 shorties in the mix, man. Let's be real. With courting, it's like, okay, I'm looking for marriage. I'm looking for this. This is the life I want to live. I find you interesting, and I'd like to sit down and see if we can, chop it up, see if something can come of this. I think with courting, the thing is it's nice because like you're cutting out all that uncertainty that can come with dating. I think the biggest problem with dating is that the label is very anonymous. There is really no label. I mean, you could say, we're just friends with benefits, or we're hooking up, or whatever it is, right? Or maybe, there is like that chance of letting it grow into something more wholesome. But oftentimes, man, it's just the exact opposite when you move like that. You start to prioritize physical intimacy. You start to prioritize physical intimacy more than actual compatibility. And with courting, as someone who has, taken that route personally, when I met my girl, the courting route, you limit off that physical intimacy until marriage. or whatever timeline you feel is best for both of y'all, right? You have like that supervision of the parents. It's just more stand up, man. I mean, if I had to like if I had a daughter, right? And, you know, a guy came up to me, he doesn't have to be the richest guy in the world. You know, if he stand up about things, if he shows me that, look, I'm willing to take care of your daughter. This is who I am. This is my personality. You know, I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna give bro a chance. It's gonna pan out a lot better than, you know, me finding out stuff in the background. There's also like drawbacks that could come from this. Of course, there is that pressure. You got to like deal with that. I mean, you know, it's big. It's big. You go in with that mindset of, hey, this is marriage. And a lot of times the timeline might be a little bit smaller when you do that. But, you know, it's nice because it's more structured. It's more structured. I know in my previous videos, I talk about how we want to break away from that structure and conformity. But this is one of those cases where it's just like, I want you guys to win for once, man, with these women. You know, it's going to be a lot less variable because dating is very variable, very variable. It can last like few dates, several years before you even really kind of come to a type of commitment that you both can focus on. And I think that's something that we need to focus on more in 2026, man. People who are actually looking for something real need to just say that at the beginning. Don't go through that process of getting to know somebody, going on these dates, playing, you know, the texting games, oh, she flaked, I got a flake, all that. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about, man. I don't need to dive too deep into it. But we need to step away from that approach. I think for once we need to focus on, hey, I want something real. Do you want something real? Great. Let's move forward together on that initiative. And that's just what I'm trying to speak on today, is that I want guys to be a little bit more upfront about what they want, because we as men, we're in the thick of it. You know, we're trying to figure out our careers as young guys in their 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s. Everybody's timeline is different, right? You're trying to figure out your career. You're trying to figure out, you know, does this person add value to my life or subtract it? And to make your whole life easier, I just want you to skip all that anonymity. I think I said that correctly. I want you to skip that anonymity of, you know, I'm dating this person, because it's just the wrong approach. It's the wrong approach. You guys know it. I mean, you're trying to force a connection. Forcing a connection doesn't work. A lot of times it's forcing a connection in today's day and age, trying to read the girl, trying to see, you know, is this a red flag? Is this a green flag? The beauty of it is when you're moving with intent and purpose, right? You could sit down and literally write a list of like what your ideal is in a partner, you know, career related stuff. Do you guys plan on parenthood? Do you guys want to live a certain place or not? These are all a lot more important than, oh, you know, does she like the same movie genre as me? No. that stuff you can manage without, you know. My wife, she does not like playing video games, but I do. You know, I mean, she might dibble dabble in Nintendo. You know, she'll probably beat me at Smash. I'm not that good at Smash Bros. But Marvel Rivals, sweetie, you know, you can meet me in here. You know, Remy LeBou. Make that structured approach. Make that pressure, man. That high focus on that marriage. Because I'm going to be real with you. I think when something is real, it can entail marriage. And maybe, you know, you don't want to be confined by the legal parameters of what a marriage is, right? And that's fine. It just dials back to, you got to figure out what you want and what you want out of the girl that you want to spend your life with. Because it's tough, man. You know, I have friends that have been going through it. I've had my fair share of experiences in life, and I just want to save you guys that time, man. I just want to save you that headache. And for anybody watching this video that's still here, you know, give that a go. Give it a go. You know, try to be more upfront about what you want. Be more upfront about what you want. And that way you don't have to jump through these loopholes and these rings of fire just to move in a way that makes you feel better. This is just my quick piece on that. I could dive more into, you know, this topic at a later time. Absolutely. I just wanted to say hi, chime in. You know, sipping my coffee. And I think it's going to be good, man. I think in 2026, we just got to start putting more stuff to paper, because that's step one of a plan, is you put it on paper and you know what you want. And a real man knows what he wants. He doesn't play games. I don't want you guys to play games. Unless it's Marvel Rivals. You can meet me in the gulag if that's the case. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that video. I want you guys to take care until next time. And this is the Sniper Romeo signing out for now. Appreciate the love and support. Adios.